All right, what's the #1 camera that everybody is shooting on these days? I gotta say, it's the PMW EX3, followed in a close second by the PMW EX1R. I wish I could say it was the F900 or the HDX 900. You know, those are still getting a little bit of shelf time, but the most popular stuff right now are these EX cameras. And the most popular question that people are asking me is, how am I gonna manage the data in the field? What if I've got a 3-camera, 5-camera concert and I've got to handle all these cards, and you know, I don't want to drown in a stack of SxS cards. It takes you know, several laptops and external hard drives and this kind of thing to manage your data in the field. Well, now we've got a product that's going to sort of save you from all of that hassle. This is coming directly from Sony. What? Question from the internet before we move on.
This is a question from Jake Mallory. He wants to know about Final Cut. What is the importance of key frame rate if you're shooting 1080 60i?
Jake, welcome. I'm glad you're watching the show. Nice to hear from you. Jake's one of our EX customers. The importance of the key frame rate, I like to leave that at automatic. Okay, the default is often 24. So if you've shot at 1080 60 or 1080 30 and you want to do sort of an export to YouTube, if you leave it at the default 24 keyframes, that's going to make your video a little choppy and out of sync with audio. So set it to automatic. The reasoning behind that is it'll leave your keyframes in sync with your 60 or 30 frame rate. That way your audio and video are not out of sync. I hope that kind of answers your question. I'm just going to assume it did. Send me an email, Jake. We'll talk about it a little bit further. Listen, I want to just sort of set the scene once more. You've got 5 cameras on the set, all right? You're shooting maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours per card. If you've got a 3-hour concert, that's a whole lot of cards. And you don't want to just, you know, have one data wrangler trying to feed all these cards into his laptop and offload to an external hard drive. And so, a first-party product made directly from Sony. This is the PXU-MS240. We call it the SxS dump unit at Midtown Video. It's pretty awesome. Why do we call it the SxS card dump unit? Because, look at that, a slot for your SxS card right here. Okay, so I've spent an hour or so, let's say, shooting a 16 gig SxS card. Insert him right into the unit. Now, what does this guy do? This guy has a 240 gig hard drive. All right, so that's 16 times that you can dump a 16 gig card, or 8 times you can dump a 32 gig card. It's got 3 separate partitions, so you could use one of these for every 3 cameras, let's say, or if you had 6 cameras, you can get 2 of them and line them up. What this does is copy from your SxS card to its internal hard drive at a rate of 10 times real time. So if you shot an hour, it's going to take 6 minutes. That's it, 6 minutes to dump the footage from your card to the hard drive. You can then format the card, stick it right back in your camera, and shoot the rest of your concert. That's pretty awesome. There are a couple other cool features that are, you know, less macro, a little more micro. For instance, let's say you wanted to get the footage off of this hard drive and onto your own hard drive. You've got 2 options to do it. You've got USB right here, which is the way that the cameras and the deck connect, so you're used to that. Or if you finally stepped into the eSATA world, this does have a built-in eSATA port. So once you've captured all your footage at 10 times real time to the internal hard drive, you can then offload to your, you know, your Mac systems, your external hard drives from your laptops, these kinds of things in very quick fashion. Another cool feature about this MSU-240, it works off of the same battery as the EX cameras. All right, I've got a BPU-30 in here. That's the small size. It fits when you close it up. If you want a bigger battery, the BPU-60 will fit in this. It'll just, you know, you won't be able to close this device. It won't look as sexy. So battery operated or DC power. Again, if you've got a long concert, you probably want to leave it plugged in. You're going to be, you know, ingesting cards, copying, and going all night in your truck, in your, you know, video village. You want to have DC power connected. The unit does come with a power supply, so that's no problem. AC power supply. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Jeannie. All right, so I showed you the first door on the front of the screen, and that's where you put your SxS card in. But check this out, okay? There's another door here that reveals the hard drive. Let's say you've filled up your 16 gig cards worth, or your 8 32 gig cards worth. What are you going to do? You are going to eject this hard drive. Look at that, removable. It's got its own DC power slot. Yeah, it's got its own USB hard drive. So once you've filled up one of these guys, you don't have to switch units. You can take this, give it to your data wrangler, and stick in another fresh drive for another, I don't know how many hours 16 times 16 is. That must be 16 hours worth of footage per hard drive that you can then remove, use separately on your laptops or your desktops, and capture directly into Final Cut Pro from this removable hard drive. Pretty awesome. The unit comes with one drive, and then you can purchase additional drives in case you're going to really have a long show. Question coming in from the internet.
Pablo would like to know how much it costs.
Pablo, I'm glad you asked how much it costs. In order to rent one of these, it's about 125 bucks a day. That includes this and all the utilities that you need. The purchase of this, Pablo, unfortunately escapes me. I do not remember. It's under $3,000. It could be way less than $3,000, but I definitely remember it's under $3,000. What's up?
BLS Miami wants to know if it will give a confirmation text log to make sure the transfer was successful.
The question is, will it give a confirmation text log? Absolutely. Absolutely. When you're done, it'll say complete, and you'll know that your footage is in there. All right? Now, it actually goes one step further than that. What do I mean by that? Well, included with the purchase or rental of this device is this USB to dummy card adapter. So check it out. I plug in this USB card, or this USB slot. And what it has on the end of it looks just like an SxS card. All right? I can insert this SxS card into any PMW EX3 camera, EX1 camera, or EX30 deck. And then this is a playback unit. You stick the camera in media mode, and you can actually browse all of the clips from all of the different partitions, all of the different copies of each card, and play them back in the viewfinder of the camera. That is absolutely essential to making sure that you've got all your data. Another question from the internet.
Sharon would like to know, does it work the same with the SDHC cards?
Sharon, thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to all of your constructive criticism tomorrow. Does it work the same with the SDHC cards? Now, I haven't tried them yet, but I'm very confident, particularly if you're using the first-party Sony adapters, SDHC cards. You can stick that SDHC card adapter right where you would stick the SxS card slot, and you can probably even hot swap live, take your SDHC cards in and out of the SDHC card adapter. I'm going to give that question a yes, and remember to test it later so I can back it up.
Confirmed.
Confirmed by Scott Leonard in the back. Sharon, yes, you absolutely can use your SDHC card adapters. You have the Scott Leonard guarantee.